What's going on YouTube? Sacred Sage here, and I'm back with another video. This time we're going to talk about point lights. When I use point lights versus when I don't. Before that though, if you find this video helpful, give a quick thumbs up, consider clicking that subscribe button to help support the channel. And if you're new to the channel, hi, I'm Sage, and I do Daz stuff, and I'm going to be moving into doing maybe some rim pie and other visual novel type things that you might need to know when creating a visual novel. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Basic coding in Daz3d. Okay, now with that, let's move on. All right, point lights. I love point lights. Not as much as ghost lights, but I do love me some point lights. So basically, how I got this, oopsie, I did not mean to do that. Let's go back into texture shaded. Go back over here. All right, so this is my setup, okay? I got a ghost light up here. I got a God ray type thing right here, just to throw in a little moonlight because it is a night scene. I love doing night scenes because it can really bring out a really good render. So I've actually grown accustomed to night scenes versus day scenes. When I first started, that was not the case at all. Anyways, before I get on a tangent, I got 2 point lights in here too. So I got one right here at the headlamp, and I got one over here at this headlamp. So these are, normal spots to have a point lights. Generally where I have point lights. I don't use point lights in any other situations really, besides lamps, fireplaces, and places like that. Even doors. Like sometimes, let's say you want light to come through a door, so you have let's open up this door. So let's go plump. We'll go and open up the door. I don't even use a point light here. I'll use a spotlight. So I'd put a spotlight, like right here, beaming away. And I'll show you an example of that. Or you can use a ghost light too. I use the ghost light in this example, but a point light will have better geometry and lighting in general. But it doesn't save on your RAM whatsoever. And your VRAM is very important. So let me go back in the iRay and I'll show you that. You see how I got this ghost light shooting out a like orangish, yellowish type light coming there to make it look like the lights on in the bathroom. So that is what I was referring to on that. All right, so let's get back to the point lights. Whoop. All right, cool. Point light. Bam. Let me go ahead and do this too. Okay, let's talk about some of these settings. The color is white. Every light that you make, doesn't matter if it is a spotlight, a point light, whatever. The color is more or less going to just be white, at least in Daz. Unless you have a preset or whatever. If you just make it, plop, bam, it's going to be white. Point light's no different. Now you can change the color. Let's say it's like a LED light and you don't want a white LED light, right? So let's say it's a green one. Let's just pick this green, poof, and then we click OK, and now you get like a green light. It'd also be good for like a club scene or something, off the wall, wherever you need different color lighting. That is there for us. Let me go back to white. I normally don't change this. Like on occasions I might. Moonlighting, I might occasionally have a point light with this color. That's why I have it saved. I like this color for a nighttime, although it does not look good on the point light. So let's go back to come on now. Let's go ahead and go back to the white. So this is imitating a lamp light. The intensity is the same. I can increase the intensity, and all this will do is make this light a lot brighter. You can see it getting brighter. All right, let me go back. And if you have if you don't understand any of these settings, just put it on one extreme or the other, right? So let's say I did not know what intensity was, right? What I'd do is I'd literally just be like, bam, let's go max. Let's see what happens. 200%. Oh, it got brighter. Well, now I know what it does, right? That's generally, you got to start poking and prodding when you want to get better at making your scenes and your renders better. That's what I still dig. There's stuff I don't know, like the whole photogenic mode, I guess, is all those settings. I didn't know that off the top of my head. So you got to constantly learn and find different ways to get better. So the next thing that I do a lot of is light geometry. This one is a sphere. So it's basically like a ball, and the light emits from that ball. But you can have different shapes. You can have the point, which I don't think you're going to see a big difference in the point light. I guess it's kind of like more refined. There's rectangle, and you can see the lighting geometry is a little different when we change those. I normally stick on spear when I do a point light, though, because it's generally a lamp or a fireplace where I put one of these lights at. Any other situation, it's a spotlight or a ghost light for me. So height, what height does is it will stretch that geometry of the light, and width will stretch it in the other. So think of up and down, left and right per se, right? You probably won't see like a major difference in this besides the lighting actually getting less, but we'll try it. You might see a reflection of it in the light here. You see how it got lower? That's because you're stretching that light higher and wider. Now, when you stretch the light higher and wider, it's still the same amount of light, but it's now having to cover more of an area. So if you start messing with the height and the width, you're also going to be hitting up this luminous flux, which is how bright the light is. Right now, my little light was 50,000. So let's, I don't know, see, that's 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million. Let's do 10 million. Woo, it barely brung it up any, but it is a little brighter. But if we bring this down, let's say about 250 and 250, it should get, whoa, it did not get brighter. Is it hidden behind something? It might be, the light actually might be hidden behind something. That is weird. Something for me to mess around with. I normally don't mess with this, but you will get softer shadows with that too. Oops. I did not mean to do that. Let's go back to our 50. Actually, I think we had these at 10. Yeah, this is changing the geometry of the light on where it's at. You can see it's farther back. You can see the donut. Yeah, see, it's 50. So right here, this little black part, that's the width. That's the width. And then there's the height. That's why we couldn't see it way out there, because it was actually out here somewhere shooting off light. That makes sense. Okay, the more you know. See, I'm still learning. So let's go ahead and change these back down to 10. And we need to get this lighting way back down. I think I had it at, what, 50,000? So let's do that. All right, the next major thing you're going to be... Oh, and another point I forgot to mention is a lot of the times you don't even have to mess with the height, the width, and all that stuff. You can just scale it. See, this one's at 200%, this right now, but you can make it 500, and now you can see how big the lights are going. It's starting to come out through the window a little bit, so just bear that in mind. A lot of the times you don't even have to mess with that unless you're looking for a softer shadow, which, if it makes your renders better, that's the main thing, right? I have not dabbled with it too much, but I need to. I really do. All right, so temperature is another thing I mess with quite a bit in every one of my renders, depending on what type of day it is. So this is a night scene, so these lights want to be kind of like yellowish, but not too overbearing, right? Just kind of like a soft one. I think coming down would probably be a little bit better. Let's say like 2750. I could have made it a little bit better. See, that actually looks a little better. But the temperature, the closer to 0 you go, the more red it gets, right? So let's just go down to 50. Watch how red this gets. It's almost like an LED light. You can actually mess with and get some colors. You can get at least red for the temperature in this scene if you wanted. So red, and let's go away here. It'd be like a bluish whitish. Yeah. And that's more of a blue, soft, kind of light. So generally, I mess with the temperature quite a bit, but if you want just white, the default starts at 6,500. Although, if I'm looking for a white, I think the 6,000 mark is a little bit better. Maybe even a little bit less too. So this one looks more white to me, but even if you come down a little bit more, it is still quite white. Like this one right here looks, I think, even more white. But the default is 6,500. I think that's gonna pretty much cover what I have to say about point lights. You just got to experiment with them. You got to get better at using them, when to use them. Like I said, generally, if I'm just like, there's a light above you, I might put a point light there just to have a little bit more like of a spark in the scene, or headlamps and that kind of stuff. I do point lights. You can also make them like, if you're going, let's say you're doing a hospital scene, you know how the hospital has those square lights above you when you're walking down the hallway? You can actually make a square emitting point light if you wanted. I would personally use a ghost light, but that's just me personally. You can make a lot of stuff work and get the effects that you're looking for. So just experiment. That's the best way to do things. Anyways, I hope you guys liked this video. I hope it helped you out. If it did, like I said, hit that thumbs up, and I'll be back with another video shortly. Until then, take care.